All right, what's going on, everybody? It is Tuesday evening. It is just a little bit after 8 o'clock. I'm a little bit more on time today than usual, so hopefully that helps more people get a couple extra minutes into the show tonight. How's everybody going? It's been an interesting week. A lot of things going on. We talked last week. We had Coach Nat on. We talked about the end of this year, things getting canceled, changing up our schedule, doing a bunch of different things. So our year has freed up, which is kind of interesting. We've got all this time now that we don't have to prep and plan and do things like, prepping a speech for Vegas doesn't have to happen. Prepping a whole itinerary and agenda for a weekend for the couples retreat doesn't have to happen right away. All that kind of stuff. So it kind of frees up some time. That does give us a little extra time to plan for Antithetic next year, which we're doing. But it has definitely taken some stress off. So lots of things going on. I have just updates on what's going on with me and things that I'm working on while we let people kind of come in and start getting their questions prepped and ready to go. I hope you guys have some good questions. You guys always have. Lately, you guys have always had good. Lately, you guys have had really good questions. And let's keep that up. Let's see what's going on with me while we wait for people to get on. Book number 3. Okay, so I don't know if you guys know this. Some of you may, some of you may not. But technically, Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness, the Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness book that I wrote last year and published last year, was technically my second book. The first book that I wrote in 2018 called The Meat Life, an experiential guide to the carnivore diet. And it was, I don't even know why I wrote it. I had this great idea. I don't know what this inspiration, that's what I'm looking for. This inspiration to write this book after I started going carnivore. I had been carnivore for a total of maybe 8 months. When I started writing it, maybe even before, maybe 6 months when I started writing it. I wrote it. It's super short. It's like 100 pages or less. But it was literally, I think the inspiration for writing that first book was there was nothing out there. I was looking and searching and finding. And at the time in 2018, carnivore was not nearly as popular as in the, hey, what's up, Bubbles Has Rules? I'm here. She made it. Carnivore was not nearly as in the zeitgeist as it is now. There was not much out there. There was a couple blogs. There was a couple Facebook groups that I found, but there weren't articles. There weren't books. There weren't studies. There weren't anything that I really could find centered specifically around carnivore, information about carnivore. It was all anecdotal. It was all testimonials. It was all, these are the things that are working. A couple doctors, Dr. Mabry was really the only doctor I knew of at the time that I could find who was really doing it and talking about it and actually, getting out there and saying carnivore is the way to go. And these are the reasons why. I learned a lot from him. And he actually contributed to that first book. There were some other people that had blogs and different things, Zero Carb Zen, and there was just not much. So I was like, okay, if I'm having trouble finding all this information, maybe other people are having trouble finding this information. Let's put it together in a book and I'll put it out there and maybe it'll help some people. I didn't know what I was doing. I'd never written a book before. Most of everything that's in that book, I look back at it today and a little cringy, right? A little cringy. And I think 90% of what's in that book is still good information. There was the entire section of that book where I talked about macros and calories and what to eat and how much you should eat. Totally just, if I could go back and just take that whole thing out of any book that was ever sold and like magically make that section disappear, I would, because I have learned so much in the 5 years since I wrote that. That I would change the entire thing to what I have currently in the Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness book. That's where I've learned. That's kind of where I base things off. And even even some things, some tweaks to how I implement what I do, what I have in that book, I would probably update again, right? It's always evolving, it's always growing. Now, that doesn't mean I'm changing what I'm saying and how I'm doing things. The concepts stay the same. That's one of the biggest things I will always be big on. I want to make sure that I'm following concepts. How I implement things, methodologies, that kind of stuff changes, but the concepts of why carnivore works is never going to change. Bubbles has rules is saying that she upped her game with weights this week, and I feel it. I upped my game. Let's put this up here. All right, Bubbles, how are you feeling it? Are you sore? Are you feeling it like, oh my God, I did it? What do you mean by how you're feeling it? I'm assuming when most people say something like, I'm feeling it, they're feeling it in like, wow, I'm tight, I'm sore. I definitely know that I did some work. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. As long as that doesn't last more than a day-ish, maybe 2 days, and then you're able to kind of feel it as far as feeling good fairly quickly after the workout. We don't want you working out and then feeling it for 4 days afterwards, right? So that's good. I'm glad you're feeling it. I'm glad you're pushing yourself a little bit. Most people, there was a study that I was looking at a few months ago. I forget when exactly it was, where they basically did a test to see how well people gauge their maximum effort reps. How many reps maximum can you get, right? Well, how well can people gauge perceived rate of exertion? Okay, and they found this was very interesting to me that pretty much across the board, on average, right, that whether you're experienced or a beginner, nobody's good at gauging your maximum reps to muscle failure. Nobody's good at, I can only do one more or I can't do any. Most people, when they initially feel like I can't do another rep, if you actually push them, if someone was there with a gun to their head, they could get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more reps. The amount of physical ability that we actually have when our brain has told us we probably can't do anymore is always more. So think about that when you're exercising. If you're doing, I'm doing 10 reps, I can't get any more than 10 reps. There's no way I can lift it again. I guarantee you, if someone told you that they would give you $1 million if you got 12 reps, I guarantee you get 12 reps. Okay. So think about things like that. Like, is this really the most that I could actually do? The last rep I could actually do, or can I get one more? Here's the thing. Even if it actually is the last rep that you can do, try to get another one. The worst you can do is not get it. The best you can do is get another one and then try again. And the worst you can do is not get it. And the best you could do is you get another one, right? Just keep doing it. Be curious. How far can I go? Curiosity will take you a long way forward in your progress. Okay. Bubble says, definitely on my muscles, excited. I can still function. I love it. That's great. That's awesome. That's awesome. So who we got on tonight? I feel like being on time with these lives is actually making me a little bit early, right? People are used to me being late and I'm on time, and now so nobody's going to show up for a little bit. So what was I talking about? I totally forgot what I was talking about. Oh, I was talking about my first book. So my first book was The Meat Life. The second book was Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness. The third book is currently in initial editing right now. It is a book that is going to be focused on concepts, how to apply the concepts of health and fitness and mindset, and how to follow a framework that allows you to find your individual solution but maintain staying within the principles of what makes good nutrition, of what makes good fitness, of what you need to have in your mindset in order to continue progress. Okay. So this is the next level. So my Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness was a lot of the practical stuff, how to think, what works, what doesn't work, some things that you can actually take home and try and do, and how to do your macros. What is exercise? Why is fitness important? How do these things impact quality of life? How to change your thought process from fat loss to quality of life and ability to do things, that kind of stuff. That was the Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness book. This book, I don't have a name for it yet. This book is going to be focused. There's a couple things I want you guys to understand. This book is going to be focused. This is going to be written to women over 40. You guys, women over 40, you guys are my demographic. You guys are who I talk to. You guys are who I work with every day. 99% of my clientele, I have two of all of my clients, I think I have two guys. Everyone else is women over 40, or I got a couple in the 35 to 40 range, but for the most part, women over 40. So this book is for women over 40. I want to teach you how to fish. I want to teach you how to go through the process of evaluating where you are, comparing that to the information that's out there, and then staying within a framework of success to help you find your solution to move forward. Okay, so that we don't get confused. We got all this information out there. What's this? What's that? This doctor says that. This doctor says this, everything else. Okay, let's cut all the noise out and figure out what's going to actually work for you, and how do you experiment and work through the process of finding your individual solution. That's what this book is going to be about. Like I said, it's in editing. It's probably going to be editing for a couple months. Basically, it's not the initial editing, right? I got it all written out. The question now is, does it make sense? So I have somebody who's kind of working with me. We're getting together every couple, a couple times a week to kind of say, okay, you said this here, you said this here. Let's change the order here. Let's make sure everything flows, because I want you guys to be able to understand it and not just look at this and be like, oh my God, Coach Bronson just dumped his brain onto a piece of paper. It doesn't make any sense. So I got someone who's kind of helping me with the flow, make sure everything's readable and makes sense. So I don't know when to expect it to be coming out. I don't know what I'm even going to call it yet. It's gone through a lot of iterations already. It started out as one thing, then it became another thing, and now it is what it is. So I am super excited about, though, the fact that I have someone who's professionally editing and helping me kind of organize my thoughts and make sure everything makes sense is really cool too. I didn't do that with the first one. I did all that stuff the first one by myself. This one is much deeper, a little bit more dense. It's a lot more conceptual. So there's a lot of thought that has to go into as you read it and understand it and comprehend. It's not just like the last book was a quick read. I literally, guys, here's going to be the difference. The first book, the last book, Ultimate Ketogenic Fitness book, that book, I had somebody on the low carb cruise this year who read the book in the sessions, read the entire book in the sessions while we were on the cruise in one day. In the class, not even in between. When she was in the room, she was reading. When she was out of the room, she wasn't reading. She read the entire book in like hours. Okay, that was how easily digestible that book is. That's what I wanted that book to be. I wanted that book to be common sense, simple to understand, simple to read, so you guys would get it. Okay, this book is going to be a little bit denser, a little bit more. You got to take your time and kind of understand some things, because the concepts connect. It's going to be one of those things where you have to understand the concepts in the first part before you get to the concepts in the second part, and then see how they flow and how they actually apply to your life. Okay, so that's that. All right, we got a couple people hopping on. Lady Fritzader. Hey, Coach, out of all the broad fitness exercises your mom did, what are the top 5? Oh, we got a question. Good question. Okay. Hi, Coach, out of all the broad fitness exercises your mom did, what are the top 5 or so exercises she did to target her fight back from osteoporosis? 7 of them. 6, 7. Okay. The 7 essential movements. Everything that she's done has prioritized the 7 essential movements, the ability to move. Okay. When we talk about general function and we talk about complete building as much muscle throughout your whole body as possible, because we're not just, okay, this is one of the challenges, guys. Yes, we have a focus. We all have a focus. Some of us want to get rid of Hashimoto's. So some of us want to reverse osteoporosis. Some of us want to reverse insulin resistance. Some of us want to increase lean mass. We have these different things. Everything that we do within those specific goals has to be done in the context of quality of life. Quality of life is the umbrella that goes over everything. If we do anything that isolates a specific goal at the expense of quality of life, then we are setting ourselves back. Okay. So, in the question, you're asking about fight back from osteoporosis. Okay. Osteoporosis is something that is a specific issue. It can be addressed by doing things that also fit within the broader realm of quality of life. So, looking at overall functional fitness, overall strength, overall conditioning, the more physical things that you can do, if you can improve your body's ability to do physical activity, you're going to also improve the symptom of osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is a symptom. Your body's ability to function properly and support itself is the problem that needs to be fixed. Hope that makes sense. Okay. So, the 7 essential movements: squatting, hinging, lunging, pushing, pulling, carrying, twisting. Those are the things. Walking, right? With resistance. That's the key when we talk about osteoporosis. It's got to be with resistance. It has to be high intensity. Okay. And that intensity, we've talked about that before. That can be a lot of different things. It doesn't mean it's always fast, but heavy is intensity. So the heavier you go, the more intense a lift or exercise will be, the more it's going to do to help increase bone density. Okay. The more reps you do, okay, that type of stuff. So there's a lot of things that go into osteoporosis from a physical fitness perspective. Just move your body against weight. That's the easiest thing I can tell you. Consistently, every day. Okay. Every day, not the same thing every day. There's variety and there's a lot of things you can do, but try to consistently move your body against weight. Hope that answers the question. She said, I'll pre-order the book. Awesome. Hey, as soon as I get it out there and I get the pre-order going, I will let everybody know. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. I talked to my editor today, and she's like, I have the vision. I think I know where you're going with some stuff. We'll touch base later on this week. She's going to send me some updates, and we'll see how it goes. So I'm excited. Bubbles Has Rules says, I use block weights. They max out at 24 pounds each. I don't want to buy larger weights. Should I just increase reps when the time comes? Why don't you want to buy larger weights? Don't limit yourself. So at some point in time, you can't increase strength without increasing what you're moving, the weight that you're moving. So if you want to get stronger, at some point in time, you'll have to get more weights. Okay. Having to buy weights, and this is something I tell clients all the time. Once you start getting in shape, okay, you ready for this? Once you start a fitness routine, once you start improving what your body can do, once you start getting stronger, once you can start getting to do more things, you have automatically quadrupled or more the number of items that you now get for your birthday and for Christmas. Okay. You can go on Amazon. You can create an entire wish list just for all the things you want to be able to use in your gym. I need dumbbells. I need a barbell. I need kettlebells. I need a box for box jumps. I need a bench. I need a TRX. Whatever it is, all the different things that you want to have. So, okay. So you were following up this question. We're going from, I don't want to buy more weights to not until we move. Okay. That's a different thing. I don't know when you're planning on moving, but at some point in time, I would recommend definitely getting more weights. What's up, Deb? Yeah, and if you just have to wait until you're moving and you just need a stopgap to have something to do, then yeah, just increase. There's a few different things that we can talk about. Okay, the first thing I would do before I do more reps, what I would look at doing, and depending on the movements that you're doing, but for this will work for most movements, I would slow down. Okay. Do tempo work, do pause sets. So if I'm doing a curl, right, I'm going to do a curl. I'm going to come up slow, 4 seconds up. I'm going to hold that contraction, right, where I can feel it in my bicep. I'm going to hold it 1, 2, 3, and then 4 seconds down, right? And 4 seconds up. I'm going to hold it, squeeze, 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 and then 4 seconds down. So you're increasing your time under tension. You're increasing the muscle mind muscle connection of feeling the activation of the muscle that you're working, and you're going to do less reps because you're getting more work in each rep. Okay. So that could work. Outside of that, trying to add more reps can be a good thing to do. So yeah, there's a few things you can do. Increasing your time under tension is essentially what you're trying to do if you don't have more weight and you want to make up some kind of modification. Hope that answers your question, Bubbles. All right, what else we got? Any other questions? So we talked about my first book, we talked about my last book, we talked about my new book coming out. If we're talking about books, I've got a couple other books ready to go, right? I've got a coaching book. If anybody's interested in becoming a coach, if anybody is a coach, if anybody um, is interested in what is being a coach about, how do I coach myself? There's a lot of ways, guys, and this is something I'll touch on in the next book. But in a lot of ways, we are our own coaches. We have the responsibility to evaluate data for ourselves and make decisions, just like a coach will help you do. So if you can learn how to coach in general, learn what it is to be a coach, you'll have a much better understanding of yourself and how to coach yourself. So this another book that I have, not necessarily in the works. It is planned. I have like a draft outline ready to go. I don't have any content. I haven't started putting any meat to the bones, but I do have a lot of information ready to go that I can build on. It's basically going to be like one of those, I don't know, 20 things I never learned, 20 things I wish I knew when I started coaching or something like that. Okay. Basically, there's a lot of information about coaching and about what it means to be a coach, how to coach, what a coach actually does that none of my training ever prepared me for, right? I've been to more training, leadership training, coaching training, nutrition, fitness, mindset, all these different things that the actual application of what it means to be a coach and how to coach, none of that stuff was ever covered. I've had to learn a lot on the outside, looking through other avenues of training and information to figure out what it means to be a coach. I'm still learning. This is going to be a nonstop process. But hopefully, after 12 years, I feel like I should have learned enough that I can put some information out there for a lot of coaches. There's a lot of coaches that are just getting started. There's a lot of coaches that have been going on for a while that are trying to still figure out some things that hopefully my 12 years of experience can help you guys as coaches avoid some of the mistakes and have a better roadmap of some things you can navigate as they approach you in your life as a coach. So that's another book that I have kind of in the background that's not necessarily being worked right now, but will definitely be worked. Another book that I alluded to a couple weeks ago that Nat yelled at me for is we are also looking at working on a book together specifically for, again, women over 40, because Nat's clients are also mostly women in that 35, 40 and up range. We're looking at doing a book together specifically focused on all of the things that we hear on a daily basis that piss us off about what women over 40 should be doing for their health and how people who are supposed to be helping are actually making things worse. Bad information out of context to sell a brand, flat out wrong information. There's a lot of stuff that's being told to women that has been told to women for years that's wrong, that is being twisted and thrown out there and absolutely totally screwing people up. Most of our clientele, some of you are on here now, some of you are going to watch this video. Most of our clientele are women who have followed the advice of other people in this space who have got screwed up, that we are having to work with them now to help fix them and get them back moving in the direction they need to go. Okay, that's what this book is going to be about. When Coach Nat and I get together with this book, it's going to be a fire, because we're going to basically say, look, this is all the information you're getting that's wrong. Here's why it's wrong, and here's what you need to be doing instead. So look out for that one. That's gonna be fun. No timeline on that one either. If you're interested in that one, they'll let us know, because the more you guys let us know what you want us to put out, like if you know that Coach Nat and I are working on a book for women over 40 to bust all the myths about things that you've been told. If that's something you want, let us know. The more people we get to say, hey, we really want that, the more it's going to push us to get it done sooner. So that would be very interesting to see. If you guys want to let us know, that would be kind of cool. Something we can work on. So, all right. Any other questions, guys? I've been rambling pretty much all today. It looks like it's a slow trickle of people coming on and commenting. Bubbles and Lady and Deb. Looks like it's just the three of you tonight. Becky, what's up, Becky? I didn't see Becky come on. How you doing, Becky? Anybody have any other questions? If not, it looks like it might be a quick night tonight. Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you got a quick. I'm not going to go there. There's too many jokes. That's okay. That just means that Coach Nat and I can have a little bit of time vegging in front of Netflix before we go to bed. We like to spend a little bit of time in the evening watching Suits. Have you guys ever watched Suits? If you haven't watched Suits, I highly recommend it as a show. We just started watching it recently, and we're obsessed right now. It's a fantastic show. All right, guys. Thank you for joining. I'm going to say specifically Becky, Bubbles, Jennifer. Wait, Jennifer had a question. She said, I have a question up higher in the chat. Jennifer, I didn't see a question. Oh, hold on. There it is. Hi, should I worry about pain in my left shin just below my knee? I do some workout every day with some sprinting in place here and there. Yes. Okay. Just like any other ailment. Okay. Just like osteoporosis, just like high blood pressure, just like insulin resistance or eczema, right? When your body is telling you something, you need to listen to it. So pain means something's not right. I would, on your own, if you can identify what causes the pain, that would be a good thing to do. Outside of that, go to a physiotherapist. Find a physical therapist, physiotherapist, basically the same thing, who specializes in sport and athletes and athletics. Don't go to a general rehab physical therapist. They're not going to help you. Go to somebody who is interested in getting you moving and keeping you moving safely and properly. Those are mostly athletic physical therapists. Have them look at you. Tell them you want a movement review. Tell them that you're having this pain. If you're able to identify, these are the things that happen that cause the pain, that helps them kind of troubleshoot what's going on. But chances are there's a movement, there's something that's injured, there's a cause that the issue isn't in your shin. The issue is somewhere else that's causing your shin to have the pain. So we want to find out where's the issue. It's probably your ankle. It could be your knee. It could be your hips. Who knows what it is? Something is causing a misalignment or misactivation of something that's causing the pain. So have them take a look at it. But I highly recommend go somewhere and get a look at it. Okay. Does that answer your question, Jennifer? I hope so. Great question. On that side note, I had a little thing that popped up for me this week when we talk about injuries and stuff like that. I think I did a video on this, but it's probably something I'll mention again. I think I'll probably do a reel on Instagram or something like that. But just a side note for anyone watching this particular episode: if you get injured, if you're sick, if you have to be away from your fitness routine for a certain period of time, okay, like I had COVID, I was out, I didn't work out for basically almost 20 days, right? It was like 15, 16 days, something like that, where I didn't go to the gym. I'm not expecting to be back in the gym doing what I was doing before I took that time off until I'm at a minimum halfway through that length of time. So if I'm out of the gym for 2 weeks with an injury or sickness, I'm not going to try to do anything close to what I was doing before that sickness for at least 7 days. Okay. If I have an injury, if I have to get surgery and I'm out for surgery for, I don't know, let's say 16 weeks, okay, 16 weeks. When I get back from that surgery and the doctor says, okay, you can go back to the gym, your rehab is done, you're able to do stuff, go start working out. Not doing anything close to where I was prior to that surgery for 8 weeks minimum. Minimum. Half of the time you were out is your minimum recommendation from me. That's my recommendation before you try to do anything you did prior to that injury. Okay. So that is a general guideline. Depending on what it is and where you're at, potentially it could be longer, but at a minimum, half the time. So as a guideline for anybody watching, if you have to be out from training for a period of time, give yourself half of that time to get back into the groove. Okay, don't push it, don't rush it. Give yourself that time. I guarantee you will not regret taking the time to work yourself back. Okay, so just something to keep a note there. We're gonna call it easy, guys. We're gonna call it easy. We're gonna call it short tonight. Thank you very much for being on. Hey, Michelle, I see you popped on. You started lifting at home, 20-pound weights, awesome. And if you guys have any questions, get your questions together, send them to me ahead of time, or bring them with you next week. But I'll be on next week, Tuesday, 8 o'clock Eastern. All right. Take it easy, everybody. Thanks for being on the show. Is it a show? Is it a podcast? Is it an episode? I don't know. Thanks for being on the live. How about that? See ya.